Hello bankers, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome back. आशा करते हैं आप सभी लोग काफी अच्छे होंगे. So guys, from this particular unit onwards, we are generally going to start with our new module, which is module C. Okay, so we already done with the concept classes of module C as well as module D. So concept classes are already provided for all the four modules, and unit wise sessions for all the for initial two modules. So module A and B is already done. Okay. So now from this particular session onwards, we are going to discuss our module C, and module C is all about financial management. Okay. So I hope you have gone through this concept classes of this particular unit. ठीक है. तो अगर आप लोगों ने नहीं देखा है तो पहले सीक्वेंस वाइज पढ़ें. सबसे पहले ठीक है मॉड्यूल ए कॉन्सेप्ट क्लासेस, देन वन प्रैक्टिस, देन यूनिट वाइज एमसीक्यूज. मॉड्यूल बी कॉन्सेप्ट, देन आपका प्रैक्टिस सेट, देन आपका यूनिट वाइज एमसीक्यूज इन केसेस, देन मॉड्यूल सी आपका कॉन्सेप्ट प्रैक्टिस, देन यूनिट वाइज एमसीक्यूज इन केसेस स्टडीज. ओके, तो सीक्वेंस वाइज अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो थोड़ा सा कई बार हमें रेफरेंसेस की रिक्वायरमेंट होगी, सो दैट रेफरेंसेस यू विल गेट फ्रॉम योर प्रीवियस मॉड्यूल इटसेल्फ, राइट? सो गाइस, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द मॉड्यूल सी, सबसे ज्यादा जो नंबर्स हैं, अर्थमेटिक्स, आपका जो कैलकुलेशंस हैं, you'll see that is part of this particular one, and these things are definitely going to help you in your CAIB examination also. Okay, so our goal, our basic general goal is like along with this JIB preparation, so we will build our fundamentals for CIB as well, right? So there is one subject called ABFM which is part of your CIB, and you'll see all these are generally part of that particular subject here in detail. But हाँ, यहाँ पे आपका बेस आपको समझ में आएगा, फंडामेंटल्स. वन एंड अनदर थिंग गाइस, लाइक जब भी आप इनको देखते हैं, अर्थमेटिक अर्थमेटिक लिखा रहता है, इट इज नॉट ओनली अबाउट द न्यूमेरिकल्स. इन योर पेपर यू विल गेट 70% क्वेश्चन बेस्ड ऑन कॉन्सेप्ट्स और फंडामेंटल्स. ठीक है, तो इसलिए आपका जो कॉन्सेप्ट फंडामेंटल्स हैं, दे आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर अपकमिंग एग्जामिनेशन. और एज आई सेड कि लाइक 70% क्वेश्चन विल बी बेस्ड ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर. ओवरऑल जेआईबी के अंदर 15 to 20 मार्क्स के आपको न्यूमेरिकल्स देखने के लिए मिलते हैं. ठीक है, बट दे जनरली पे मोर अटेंशन टुवर्ड योर फंडामेंटल्स. ठीक है, if you are okay with the fundamentals, if you are good in fundamentals, we do not need to worry about the numericals and all. ठीक है, these all numericals are generally led by this particular one. ठीक है, तो let's have a quick look. So first we have financial management and overview that we are going to cover in this unit. Then we have ratio analysis. Then we have financial mathematics, calculation of interest and annuities. So ratio analysis, you will get two questions at least. Calculation of interest and annuities like CI, SI calculation and all. These are generally part of this. Annuities and all. Then we have calculation of YTM, yield to maturity. तो यहाँ से आपका दैट current yield calculation, YTM calculation, bond theorems. So these are very important part from this unit. Forex arithmetics. So forex arithmetics से आपका value date, cross rate, future, forward, and the other elements related to forex market. ठीक है. Then we have capital structure and cost of capital. Very important unit here. So capital structure means a combination of equity and debt, and we have different theories to decide capital structure, or there are so many factors which help companies to decide their capital structure. Okay? Capital investment decision, again very important one. So where we have NPV method, IRR, payback period. Every year they generally ask question based on this particular one. Okay? Equipment leasing and lease finance, again important one with dual benefit, because this topic is also part of your IE and IFS as well, right? Working capital management, again very simple one, half marks or 1 marks question. Derivatives, 2 marks question with dual benefit, again which is also part of your IE and IFS. And we have spent around 1 hour 40 minutes on this particular topic to understand the fundamentals of this derivatives and all, right? So these are the units, and each and every units is important. This is like overview. This first unit is kind of the combination of all these. ठीक है, तो ये जितने भी units हैं इनका kind of introduction you will get in the first unit. Okay, but apart from that, these all are very very important one, ठीक है? तो जो आपको like you can expect number of questions, ठीक है? As I said, like around 25 to 30 marks question based on this particular module, and like 70% conceptual or applied based question, and remaining 30% kind of your numericals, ठीक है? So again I'm saying you have to focus on concept. Okay, so first unit number 19, financial management and overview, right? So module C, unit 1 kind of, ठीक है? So form of business organization, we have financial decision in a firm, capital structure and investment decisions, ठीक है? We have like two separate unit on this particular one, ठीक है? Objective of financial management, fundamental principle of finance, building blocks of modern finance, risk return trade payoff, ठीक है? Then we have agency problem in financial management. So agency theory and stakeholders theory, we have discussed this particular one in our concept classes. Yeah. Business ethics and social responsibilities, CSR. Sometimes they ask one question based on CSR also. Yeah. Section 135 of Companies Act 13. So they generally give you one numericals and all, and that is also part of your PPV, one detailed topic. Yeah. Organization of the finance function, relationship of finance to economics and accounting, emerging role of finance manager in India. Okay, so these are the subtopics. So basically, your unit 1 is kind of a it is an overview of your all the coming units. Okay, तो अगर आप मतलब this is just for one time things, ठीक है? एक बार इसको आप देख लें, उसके बाद आपको इसको ना दोबारा रिवाइज करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Once you will you will be done with all these units, ठीक है? जैसे अगर आप इसको इग्नोर भी करते हैं, आप ये पढ़ेंगे, इसके बाद अगर ये प्रैक्टिस सेट लगाएंगे ना, आई विल मेक श्योर कि you will be able to answer 100% right in this particular one, ठीक है? रीजन बिकॉज ये जो सारी चीजें हैं इनके ऊपर आपका डिटेल डिस्कशन है. अब रिमेनिंग जो टॉपिक्स, अगर आप लोगों ने कॉन्सेप्ट वीडियोस भी देखे होंगे तो वहां से भी आप आसानी से आज के जो क्वेश्चन है उनको सॉल्व कर पाएंगे, ठीक है? तो दोस्तों स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का डिस्कशन विद वेरी फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन ऑन योर स्क्रीन. So quickly go through the question and like try to answer these one, and please do like and share, do share your feedbacks, and if you are finding these particular this particular content worth it, so please do share with other also, ठीक है? तो आपके जो साथी बैंकर्स हैं उनको भी थोड़ा सा मदद मिल जाएगी, ठीक है? सो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड a factor influencing the capital structure? Okay, so what is capital structure? So capital structure is basically it is a combination of equity and debt. Okay, so whenever companies, they generally plan to raise capital, let's say there is XYZ company, they are planning for the business expansion outside India. So let's say they required their expected budget is 1000 crore. Okay, so it's a huge amount. Okay, so they so now they have two major option. One, either they can take that arrange that particular money through debt, they can ask for bank loan, or they can issue bonds and other debentures and all. Another route is they can go with the after being public, they can issue their shares in the market, they can issue private equity, they can issue preference shares, equity shares and all, and through that particular route they can arrange the fund. Okay, so in our capital structure unit, we are going to discuss different theories around this particular one, and what is optimal capital structure for for an organization. So we'll talk around that one also, right? So let's say there is a company whose equity debt to equity ratio is 30 is to 70. That means out of that 1000 crores, 300 crore rupees they are going to raise through the equity, and rest आपका 70% through the debt. So every time you'll see that portion of debt is higher than the portion of equity in case of capital structure. Reason being, with that we generally also get the financial leverages. Okay, so financial leverages is basically, it is also known as trading on equity. So you are borrowing money, okay, and you are paying a fixed rate of interest, you are investing that particular money. So your the difference between your average borrowing and return on investment, so return on investment is much higher than your borrowing cost. Okay, so this way you are increasing your market value as well as the pricing of equity as well, right? So that is the one. So now Cost of capital. Cost of capital is important in this case. Why companies is doing, like, mostly why companies follow this particular one? Reason: cost of equity is always higher than cost of debt. Okay? First thing, with cost of like, if companies following this particular structure, reason one, another reason is, if you'll sell more equity, so you'll lose your degree of control on that particular company as well, right? तो आपके शेयर्स क्या हो जाएंगे, कम हो जाएंगे, तो इसलिए इसका पोर्शन हमेशा कम रहता है, ठीक है? सो कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल, विच इज अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ कॉस्ट ऑफ इक्विटी, कॉस्ट ऑफ इक्विटी प्लस कॉस्ट ऑफ डेट, ठीक है? कॉस्ट ऑफ डेट, ठीक है? इसके लिए हम लोग एक कॉन्सेप्ट मैंने आपको समझाया था, अगर आप लोगों को याद होगा, दैट इज नोन एज वेटेड एवरेज कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल। तो बहुत बार आपको एग्जामिनेशन में जो पूछा जाता है, ठीक है? कंट्रोल कंसिडरेशन, एज आई सेड, like when companies they are raising funds through or via this equity route, so in case of equity they do not have to pay any interest, but they lose their degree of control. Okay, so this is again one factor, ठीक है? तो आप क्या बना रहे हो, उनको ओनर बना रहे हो, ठीक है? if you are being public, so if you are selling your shares, that means those shareholders will become owners of that particular company, ठीक है? Legal restrictions, there are some legal restrictions also by the by law. It can be SEBI, RBI and all, okay? Corporate branding strategy, no, there is no impact of corporate branding strategy on a capital structure. Okay, so option D will be right answer for this particular question. I hope this is clear to all of you guys. So corporate branding strategy relate to marketing, not financial decisions, decision making factors affecting capital structure, so which include cost, risk, control and legal aspect, right? Next one, which key principle differentiate limited liability partnership from the traditional partnership? So in case of traditional partnership, there was no perpetual succession, but in case of this limited LLP, we do have the perpetual succession, or companies or LLPs, they do enjoy the perpetual succession also. Again, the number of partners allow the perpetual succession characteristics, the sharing of loss equally, no. So option B will be correct answer for this one. We will discuss these particular one in detail. So मैंने slide आपके लिए add कर रखे हैं जहाँ पे हम उनको detail में आपका discussion करेंगे. Before that, we will practice few questions. So under the Indian Partnership Act 1932, which of the following statement is true regarding the liability of partners? ठीक है? So as per this act, which of the following statement is true regarding the liability of partners? Okay, partners are liable only up to their investment amount. No, it should be their liability. Okay. So partners have limited liability in registered firm. Okay, partners are jointly and severally liable for the obligations. Retiring partner is never liable for firm debt incurred in this. Okay. So what should be answer? Your B should be C. Okay, okay, sorry. Okay. So partners are jointly and severally liable for a firm obligation. Partners have limited liability in registered firm. It should be a public firm. Okay, sorry. So C will be correct answer for this particular one. Partnership firm, all partners share liability for the firm debt and obligation individually and collectively. Okay, so we have these type of businesses. We have discussed these particular one. Sole proprietorship, basically it is a single man company, a one man company. Partnership firms, where we have two persons. Limited liability partnership. So then we have Hindu limited liability means the there is some, like, let's say there are 10 partners, so they have different liability on the overall they have different shares in overall liability. HUF, Hindu Undivided Family, it is basically run through the HUF Act. Companies Act 2013. Cooperative societies, these are generally formed based on the mutual kind of mutual आपका like mutual concern and all to achieve some objectives and all, right? So sole proprietorship is a sole trader is an unicorporated business with a single owner who pay a personal income tax on the business profit. The business owner is referred to as the sole proprietor. Okay, one man company, simple thing. So, a sole proprietary is a type of firm owned or run by one person, and in which no legal restrictions between the owner and the firm. But in case of company, we do have this restrictions. Company is a separate a business economic unit, and that owners or the promoters are different from the company, right? Partnership firm in India are governed by the Partnership Act 1932. As per the Section 4 of Indian Partnership Act 1932 itself. Partnership is a relation between person who have agreed to share the profit of business carried out by all or any them acting for all. Okay? So means let's say there are two person who started a company. Okay? One is actively dealing the operations and everything, but another one is also have the sharing in overall profit or the activities as well. Okay? फीचर ऑफ पार्टनरशिप कंपनीज प्लीज डू रिमेंबर दीज पर्टिकुलर वन ऐसी चीजें आपको कई बार वो पूछ लेता है ठीक है so it is an association of two or more person these there is an agreement or contract between the persons the agreement is to carry on business with the objective of sharing profit the business is to be carried on by all or any of them acting for all the liability of each partner is unlimited and a partnership firm can have a maximum of 50 members. Okay, so that means minimum 2 and maximum 50 members. Limited liability partnership, it is a newly established concept introduced in India by LLP Act 2008. A limited liability partnership is a partnership in which some or all partners have limited liability. There is no equal distribution of the liability itself. So HUF आपका basically it is the head of the family is the primary owner of that particular one, and they generally enjoy the succession. Like if this person die, so the another head will become the primary or the chief of that particular business. Okay? So HUF is a form of business organization existing only in India and is governed by the provision of HUF law. It is different from partnership firm as come into existence not out of any contract by birth in the Hindu family. ठीक है so इसके लिए हम लोग कोई स्पेशल आपका कॉन्टेक्ट जैसे in case of partnership act partnership we have partnership act or LLP we have that act but in this particular case it is kind of a by birth if you are part of that particular family so you become a member of that particular HUF okay so a company we have discussed in detail in our module B company account 1 and 2 so company is an association of persons who generally contribute money or money worth to achieve some specific goal okay section 20 of companies act which define a company as a company, right? So, an association of person who contribute money or money worth to achieve the common goal and all thing. It is created by law and affected by law. Okay, so it is an artificial person which is created by law. Law is Companies Act 2013, and it is get affected by law. So they have to act according to the that act itself. Okay? Corporate society, these are kind of like to achieve like we can say these are mostly आपका non-profit making organization and all. So it is a form of business where individual join hand for the promotion of their common goals. Mutual assistance and service are the main objective of the cooperative society as distinguished from the profit making aim of the other firms other form of organization. Okay, चलो अब आगे फिर इन्हीं के ऊपर कुछ प्रैक्टिस कर लेते हैं ठीक है So in the context of financial management, what is the most significant reason using leverage? Okay, so why we use this leverage? So like we can increase the overall market value of the company. ठीक है? So हम लोग क्या करें? Let's say there is a company जिसका current valuation is suppose that 1000 crores. They raise funds through debt. उन्होंने क्या किया? Leverage is equal to debt. They raise 500 crore rupees debt. उन्होंने 500 crore रुपए का आपका debt उठाया. Borrowing liabilities. With this liability, they'll generally create their assets. So this will help them to increase their market value by 500 crores. Okay. तो जो भी इसके shareholders होंगे, they'll like उनकी जो वैल्यू होगी that will like जैसे 1000 के हिसाब से आपका शेयर वैल्यू was 100, so now it will become 150 per share आपका, ठीक है. So to increase the liquidity, no, this is not the primary one. To maximize the return on equity, trading on equity it is called. To reduce operational risk, to diversify business operations. So this is the code. B will be the right answer. So leverage increase the potential return on equity by using borrowed fund to generate higher profit. Higher profit a bit with the higher risk as well, right? Next one. Which financial ratio is the most appropriate to evaluate a firm short-term liquidity position? Okay, so ratio analysis, there is one unit number 20th itself, ठीक है. So we are going to discuss that particular one a lot. बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन मैंने आपके लिए बनाए हुए हैं, फ्रेश क्वेश्चन आपका, ठीक है. So we will discuss around the different type of ratios, ठीक है. So I hope आप लोगों ने आपका concept वीडियो देखा होगा, ठीक है. So we have traditional ratios and functional. Nowadays we generally use functional ratios. Under functional ratios we have liquidity ratio, we have solvency ratio, we have like market prospect ratio, we have profitability ratio, activity ratio. तो ये सारे जिनको हम लोग लाइन वाइज आपका डिस्कस करेंगे, ठीक है. So now the question is most appropriate to evaluate a firm's short-term liquidity. So for this one, we have आपका it is a case of liquidity ratio. So we have cash ratio, current ratio, we have asset test ratio, we have uh, cash and equivalent ratio. So these are working capital ratio. They generally falls under this one. Okay. So debt to equity ratio is solvency ratio. Return on equity आपका again solvency. Current ratio आपका earning per share, ये market prospect ratio. ठीक है. So अगर हम लोग बात करें current ratio का, so how we calculate current ratio? Current asset divided by current liability. So out of the given one, so this is the most suitable. So what will be your correct answer? This. Debt to equity, long term prospect about the company. Return on equity, how the company shares is performing. Or the shareholders funds versus total asset, basically it is shareholders funds versus total asset. EPS is like how that company shares is growing on year basis, like how we calculate. EPS is equal to profit after tax minus dividend divided by weighted number of shares into 100. So that is the one. ठीक है. तो इनमें से आपका current asset और current ratio, आपका current ratio, quick ratio, which is also called asset test ratio, working capital, all these are generally part, or these are the financial model which we generally use for the to check the how that company is going to meet their short term obligations or short term liabilities. ठीक है. अगला, according to the Companies Act 13, what is the minimum paid up capital requirement for a private company? तो याद है आपको ये, this question we have discussed in our module B itself, right? And this is also lead part of this particular one. So what will be your correct answer? There is no minimum capital requirement. Earlier it was 1 lakh for private company and 5 lakh for public company. But with the Companies Act 2015 amendments, we removed this particular barrier. So now it is no, like there is no mandatory, as though no mandatory in this case. Okay? So Companies Act 13 abolished the, this abolished happened in 2015, or this amendment happened in 2015. The mandatory minimum paid up capital requirement for private limited company. Earlier it was 1 lakh for private and 5 lakh for public. Okay? Which of the following statement correctly describe the financial concept cost of capital? Okay? So cost of capital is, it is a combination of cost of equity plus cost of debt, or it is how we calculate it, weighted average cost of capital. Equity, we have different type of equity. Debt, we have different type of equity. So the cost, for that we have one method that is known as weighted average cost of capital. Portion of equity into cost of equity plus portion of debt into your cost of debt. Okay? So this is the one. So the total cost of running the company operation, the return expected by investors for providing capital, the accounting cost, maintaining financial record, the tax exemption, total cost of running the company's operations, return expected. So option B, yes, option B, the return expected by investors for providing capital. So that is, generally it is known as weighted average cost of capital. What is the primary benefit of financial leverage? So financial leverage we generally get through the debt instrument. तो जब हम लोग debt instrument आपका issue करते हैं उनके through, ठीक है. So reduce financial risk, no. Increase dividend payout, enhance earning per share, yes. Lower working capital, no. Increase the this. So C will be correct answer for this one. Next one. Which of the following form of business organization has the higher level of regulatory compliances in India? तो सबसे ज्यादा जो रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस हैं वो कौन से टाइप के बिजनेसेस को आपका फॉलो करने होते हैं? ओके, सो व्हाट विल बी योर करेक्ट आंसर? कंपनी, ठीक है, सबसे ज्यादा, ठीक है, इट इज लाइक सबसे ज्यादा जो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस या रेगुलेटरी गाइडलाइंस वो किसके संबंध में है? आपका कंपनी के उसमें. सो कंपनीज फेस द मोस्ट स्ट्रेट इन रेगुलेटरी compliances under the Companies Act 13, SEBI regulation and tax laws as well. Okay, next one. Which of the following statement is true regarding cooperative societies in India? ठीक है, so cooperative societies. So अभी हमने डिस्कस भी किया था, ठीक है. So the focus solely on profit generation, no. They are usually non kind of NGOs and all, ठीक है. So membership is limited to 50 individual, no. LLP आपका रहेगा. They are governed by the Companies Act, no. Cooperative Societies Act आपका. They operate on principle of mutual assistance. This is 100% true. ठीक है, so D will be correct answer for this particular one. So cooperative societies exist to provide mutual benefit and shared services, distinguishing them from the profit-driven businesses. Next one. Which of the following best describe financial management? Okay. So, financial management, like I hope you heard about this term management. So, whenever you talk about the management functions, okay, or the management process, so it start with like planning, the very first function. Then we have organizing. Then we have staffing. Then we have directing, and then finally one is control. Okay, so in an organization, like every organization they have this management functions, or every organization's management they have this planning is basically setting goal and objectives. So with regard to finance, it is something related to sales number or revenues and all. Again, organizing is basically distribution and allocation of resources. Staffing is selecting right person at right job. Directing is leadership role, motivation, communication and all. Controlling is basically making sure your organizational goal are met. Okay, so your degree of control is decided by your degree of plan. ठीक है, so your plan will decide your degree of control. जितने बड़े टारगेट होंगे उतना बड़ा ज़्यादा कंट्रोल का रिक्वायरमेंट होगा. ठीक है, so planning, organizing, directing and controlling, basically these are the core principles which we generally use or apply in finance also, right? Next one. What is the primary objective of financial management team? So financial management, like if you are managing finance of a company, so what is the primary goal? So that is wealth maximization. Okay, so maximizing market share, maximizing profit, maximizing shareholders wealth team. So आपका C should be right answer for this one team. So maximizing shareholders wealth, which include the company's wealth, because company is a kind of that is owned by the shareholders eventually. So financial management to maximize the shareholders wealth by ensuring an optional balance of risk and return payoffs. Okay, so we have some notes from your book as well. So what are the objective of financial management? To to ensure optimum utilization of funds. So like if we are investing on a project, so first of all we are selecting the best alternates and we are getting the best return. Okay, to take sound capital investment decision. Okay, decide optimum capital structure, ensure statutory and regulatory compliances are met, ensure balance between shareholders benefit and organizations objectives, to ensure appropriate financial risk management system. Okay, so these are some major objectives which we are going to study through the different units. Okay, principles, fundamental principle of finance. So while discussing the principle of finance, let us keep in mind finance is not as same as money lending. Lending is just a constituent of finance. ठीक है, so finance का मतलब ये सिर्फ पैसा नहीं है, बस उसका overall management आपका. ठीक है, so the principle of finance should not be confused with principle of lending. The main principle finance are like basically इट्स टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी, ठीक है। सो टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी आपका यूनिट नंबर 21 में आएगा, ठीक है। सो टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी प्रिंसिपल बेसिकली आपको क्या बताया था कि जो आज का 1 रुपये है उसकी वैल्यू ज्यादा है कंपेयर टू 1 साल बाद के 1 रुपये की, बिकॉज देर आर अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट, देर इज इन्फ्लेशन कॉस्ट एंड ऑल, ठीक है। सो दैट इज द लॉजिक, ठीक है। सो दैट इज जहाँ पे आपका प्रेजेंट वैल्यू ऑफ मनी, फ्यूचर वैल्यू ऑफ मनी इज नॉट इन, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है आपका टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी, बिकॉज टाइम हैज अ मनी वैल्यू, ठीक है। सिंपल हम इसको इस तरीके से बात करते हैं, ठीक है। जैसे होता है ना कि लाइक आज का 100 रुपये और 1 साल बाद के 100 रुपये, ऑब्वियसली आज के 100 रुपये की वैल्यू ज्यादा है because we can invest that particular one or the other factors like inflation and all, that will reduce the value of that 1 year's 100 rupees, okay। So that is the one opportunity cost आपका, ठीक है। You have like let's say 3 project, तो कौन सा प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ट सुटेबल है, ठीक है। और दूसरा when your inflow outflow are properly meeting, so we can invest that particular one, ठीक है। सो अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट आपका कि अगर हम इस प्रोजेक्ट में इन्वेस्ट कर, जैसे लेट्स से वी हैव इन्वेस्टेड इन वन प्रोजेक्ट, अगर हम सेम अमाउंट दूसरे में करते अगर वहां पे ज्यादा रिटर्न होता तो दैट गैप, दैट इज अपॉर्चुनिटी, ठीक है। रिस्क एंड रिटर्न पे ऑफ, लाइक हायर द रिस्क हायर द रिटर्न, लोअर द रिस्क लोअर द रिटर्न, सो वी हैव टू बैलेंस इट आउट, ठीक है। Liquidity and return, so liquidity and return are again very major constraint, ठीक है। So in some instruments you will get high, let's say you are getting high return but they are less liquid, so in that particular situation, so like if company will need some sort of funds, if you won't be able to liquidate those particular funds, it will create a problem, it will create liquidity problems, okay। Another side, return, which is lead to the overall profitability. Diversification, we cannot put all the eggs in one basket, right? So we have like if you'll do the same thing, let's say if your bank is investing everything in one industry and all, so there is a concentration risk, okay। तो वो आपका कहीं ना कहीं क्या होगा, अगर उस इंडस्ट्री में प्रॉब्लम होती है तो आपको प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी, ठीक है। रिड्यूसिंग एसेट लाइबिलिटी मिसमैच, ALM is like the gap. ALM is basically, let's say your asset is getting mature on first, your liability is payable on 15. That is the best case, okay? Because from that asset we have planned ki we will pay off that liability on 15. But if the case is reverse, that is a danger and it will create liquidity problem for the bank, okay? Cash flows, okay? So for day-to-day operation and all, we'll keep requiring the cash, also the working capital requirements and all, okay? चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं, नेक्स्ट वन, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट अ फंडामेंटल प्रिंसिपल ऑफ फाइनेंस। Risk and return trade-off, we discussed this, higher the risk higher the return. Time value of money, again inflation adjustment is not in this case, diversification is part of this team, so C will be correct answer for this particular one, right? So inflation adjustment is a financial consideration but it is not one of the fundamental principle, okay। So while you'll decide the time value of money or you will calculate time value of money, it has an impact, okay, while you make your investment decision. So you have to consider your outflows with your inflows, you have to consider inflation, but it is not a major fundamental principle. Which of the follow, which business organization provide the least liability protection to owners? Least liability protection will be in the case of sole proprietorship, because this person is solely responsible for the entire liability, right? So in other case we have some sharing or the other one, partners and all, okay? Next one, which of the following act govern partnership firm in India, okay? So partnership firms through Partnership Act 1932 itself. Next one, a partnership firm can have a maximum of how many partners? So how many partners? 50, minimum to maximum 50, okay? Next one, which financial principle emphasizes that idea that money today is worth more than money in the future? So बताओ क्या होगा answer? We just discuss around this one, ठीक है? So it is as simple like let's say 1 rupee of today is greater than like today, or it is 1 year later, right? So आपका rupees 1, ठीक है? If you compare this, so this has a greater value compared to this, because in during this we have opportunity cost, we have inflation and other consideration also, right? So it is generally part of your time value of money, okay? So time value money is around this particular concept, okay? So time value, so money today can be invested to earn returns, making it more valuable than same amount in the future. Next one, The main governing body for companies in India is a Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So Ministry of Corporate Affairs is the main. This Companies Act also comes under this particular one in audience. So सबसे बड़ा, but others also they have their contribution, but it is the major one. Next one. In which business structure does the concept of principal succession exist? तो कौन से उसमें आपका principal succession होता है? इनमें से majorly it is with company team. Principal succession is basically आपका क्या बताया था मैंने आपको, ठीक है, we have discussed this particular one in module B as well, ठीक है. So death of proprietor or promoters or owners does not affect the life of the company. Okay, so as I gave you an example of GRD Tata sir, then Ratan Tata sir, then अभी आपका जो और उसको डील करें, ठीक है. So that is the one कि company is itself a separate economic unit, okay, and death of proprietor will not affect the existence of that particular company. It's a kind of going concern. वो company आपका चलते रहेगी और उसके जो अधिकार हैं और उनको शिफ्ट हो जाएंगे. Which of the following best describe liquidity in financial terms? So liquidity in financial terms, availability of assets. Liquidity is basically how that company is going to meet their short-term obligations. Okay. So आपका ability to pay short-term obligations, B will be correct answer for this one. Okay. It is more toward to working capital in all. Okay. So which of the following is an example of fixed financial decision? Fixed financial decision, dividend policy, no. Working capital, ये आपका दिस इज नॉट फिक्स, इट इज बेसिकली अप टू अ अकाउंटिंग पीरियड, ठीक है. ये शॉर्ट टर्म आपका होता है, ठीक है, और ये आपका बिजनेस सिचुएशंस के हिसाब से इंक्रीज या डिक्रीज हो सकता है. कैपिटल बजटिंग इज पार्ट ऑफ फिक्स, ठीक है. प्राइसिंग स्टडीज अगेन नो. सो सी विल बी करेक्ट आंसर फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर वन. नेक्स्ट वन. What does working capital management focus on? It help in day-to-day inflow outflow of cash. So current asset, current liabilities, the relation between these two. Long-term investment, daily operation financing, capital structure investment, no. So option B will be correct answer for this particular one. Next one. In financial management, the risk return trade-off suggests higher the risk, higher the return, lower the risk, lower the return. So lower risk lead to higher return, no. Higher risk lead to higher returns, बिल्कुल सही. So risk has no. So B will be correct answer for this one. ठीक है, so हमने बहुत बार इसको पढ़ा है काफी डिटेल में with examples. Like in, let's say this is risk part, ठीक है, and this is your return. Okay, so in case of risk, like let's say in case of saving accounts, we have less risk, so we have less return. In case of venture capital, we have high risk, so the return is also high. Okay, that is the one. Okay, so this is it. So बहुत ही basic. Actually, I got some throat ache, I guess. ठीक है, so बोलने में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रही है. So I hope you get these particular thing clearly. ठीक है, so I'll fix it first. और कल तक हम लोग आपका फिर आई स्टार्ट विद द मॉड्यूल सी, आपका जो भी अगला यूनिट है, यूनिट नंबर 20, रेशियो एनालिसिस इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, सो ये आई होप समझ में आया होगा सबको. ठीक है, अगर कोई भी डाउट आपका रहा है, कोई भी ऐसा एरिया जहाँ पे आपको लग रहा है कि चैलेंज हो रहा है, ठीक है, देखो यहाँ पे ना इसके लिए आपको टेंशन नहीं लेना. रीजन बीइंग these all things we are going to discuss or practice with the help of coming sessions. Okay, and we have already discussed these particular areas इन आर कॉन्सेप्ट क्लासेस. अगर आप लोगों ने कॉन्सेप्ट क्लासेस थोड़ा सा भी ध्यान से भी देखा होगा ना, अगर आपने वहाँ से 50-60 भी गेन किया होगा, तो भी आप इन क्वेश्चंस का आंसर कर पाएंगे. ठीक है, तो अगर फिर भी आपको कोई चैलेंज लगता है, यू कैन शेयर योर क्वेरीज विद मी ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर टेलीग्राम ग्रुप. यहाँ पे आप मुझे कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. और अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट ऑल्सो, इफ यू नीड एनी हेल्प फॉर योर अपकमिंग एग्जामिनेशन, सो यू कैन ऑल्सो कनेक्ट. ठीक है, so I'll see you tomorrow, guys, with our next unit, which is ratio analysis. So this is it from my side. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you for watching this session. Bye bye, take care all, and all the very best for your preparation. Thank you.